The lecture hall buzzed with its usual pre-class chaos, an alien symphony of clicks, hisses, and harmonic tones. Students of every species shuffled in, shifting from visual to ultrasonic communication, filling the air with a layered hum. Kira Vance, the only human in the entire cohort, sat quietly in the back. She scribbled with an old pen on a worn notepad, a habit from a world no one here had ever visited. No one noticed her. Professor Vickle entered with his usual swagger, his polished exoskeleton catching the light. A craven renowned for their intellectual pride and their even sharper condescension. He commanded instant silence as he activated the holographic displays. Today's topic, he announced. Unarmed combat. He paused, letting the words sink in. In the galaxy, few species engage in such archaic methods. And humans. His compound eyes scanned the room until they landed on Kira. The entire hall tensed. Well, humans don't fight barehanded. A ripple of laughter spread across the room. Kira lifted her hand. Calm, steady, challenging. Even Vickle hesitated. Yes, Cadet Vance? Permission to demonstrate, sir. Her voice was gentle, but her eyes were sharp enough to cut. The room stilled. A low wave of murmurs rose from the alien students. A human? Demonstrate combat? Impossible. Absurd. Entertaining. Vickle clicked his limbs in amusement. Are you suggesting humans can fight without weapons? Not suggesting, Kira said. Demonstrating. She stood. The laughter faded. Something in the way she moved fluid, grounded, deliberate made even the skeptics lean forward. Very well, Vickle said. But understand that human physiology is poorly suited for combat. You will be at a severe disadvantage. We'll see, she replied. Kira stepped into the center of the room. Her presence shifted the air itself. She wasn't eager and she wasn't nervous. She was simply prepared. Vickle lowered himself into a combat stance. 6 limbs poised like sharpened blades. To be clear, he said, without claws, venom, or armor, you cannot expect to win. I never expect to win, Professor, Kira said softly. I expect to survive. The room held its breath. Begin, Vickle ordered. He lunged, pulling, snapping forward with terrifying speed. Kira was already gone. A simple sidestep. Effortless. She appeared behind him before most students registered she had moved at all. She didn't strike. Instead, she lightly tapped a joint where Vickle's armored plates didn't fully overlap. Here, she said, a structural weakness. Your mobility point. Your momentum will work against you. His confidence wavered. He struck again, faster. She rolled under him, using his own charge to redirect his weight. Vickle stumbled a craven, stumbling. Gasps echoed through the hall. Kira rose without urgency. Strength doesn't matter if you can't land a hit. Frustration crept into Vickle's movements. He attacked recklessly, trying to overwhelm her. She danced around each strike, not with speed, but with precision and timing. Enough. Vickle growled. You can't evade forever. She didn't evade. When he lunged again, she caught his wrist mid-swing, twisted it at the joint, and forced him off balance. His exoskeleton groaned in protest. You rely too much on power, she said. You react. You don't anticipate. That's why you're losing. The class watched in stunned silence. She wasn't overpowering him. She was out-hinking him. Driven by anger, Vikal charged again, limbs flailing in raw aggression. Kira remained still, watching. Waiting at the last second, she slipped beneath his arms, grabbed his shoulder, and redirected his full weight. The professor crashed to the mat in a shower of chitin flakes. Silence swallowed the room whole. Kira stood over him, calm as ever. Strength doesn't matter. Understanding your opponent does. And right now, you don't understand me. Vikal rose shakily. For the first time in his career, humility softened his stance. You were right, he said quietly. My assumptions were incomplete. Whispers spread across the hall. Respect. Awe. Fear. The students stared at Kira as though seeing humans for the first time. In the weeks that followed, Kira's reputation spread through the academy. Students from every species came to learn from her. Her lessons were simple, informal, and intense. She taught them human strategy, adaptability, the long history of martial arts, and humanity's greatest skill, turning disadvantages into strengths. What makes humans different? Kira explained one afternoon, is that we don't fight fair. We study, we adapt, we survive. A Thoraxian student asked, if you fight to survive, how did you handle victory? Kira smiled faintly. We don't fight for glory. We fight when we must. That's the human way. Her influence reshaped the academy. Professor Vikal revised his entire curriculum. He even invited her to teach the final class on human combat evolution. Standing before the students, Kira spoke of humanity's long struggles, their wars, their ingenuity, and the resilience that defined them. We fight, she said, not because we're the strongest, but because we refuse to accept defeat. The bell rang. Students crowded around her with questions. When she finally stepped outside, she turned to her friend Quilix. So, she asked, did we get through to them? Quilix's eyes gleamed. Kira, I think humans just became the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Kira paused at the doorway, a spark of amusement in her eyes. Whatever the future held, she was ready. Humans adapted. That was their way.